Welcome back to another video. Have you ever wondered how to put a 2170 battery pack on an 18650 Powerwall bracket? This battery pack will fit, and if you want to stay tuned, I will show you how I made it work. And now, in my videos, yes, I do waffle a little bit. I try to keep it to a minimum, and somehow another 12-minute video. So, in the middle section of this video shows the process of putting this on. But if you like to skip over maybe 3/4 of the way, near the end, I'll show you my 5th generation battery pack with the better nickel strip that fits much better. But anyway, stay tuned and have fun, and please subscribe if you already haven't. Now, what I've noticed with the 2170 holders is there's no actual lugs or lips like you can see on this 18650 right there, where they interlock with the next one, like you can see down there. So I've had a quick look on eBay at a few, and they all seem to be the same. The difference is you've got your holes for want to pass wires through, whereas the 18650s don't. Just a matter of putting glue. Glue has set, so now we can put them on. I noticed that these battery holders have a lot of play in them. Now I don't know if it's just this brand or they're all like that. I don't know. Anyway, just like that. So anyway, I've got to cut mini strips like this, and up the end I'm putting some cells in here that helps hold the pack together, and it sits under the holder for the bracket on the wall. And that one is just, once again, help hold all this firm. And I will put a nickel strip across all that to keep it in place, just like that. Now that that's cut, it goes on like this. Obviously I'll line it up the right way, but if you have a look once again, like the lead acid replacement lithium, it doesn't work. You got that in here, you got that in like that, it fits perfectly there, but when you get to the other end, it doesn't work. See, it overlaps, and that's got to go over. So these are the 2170 nickel strips, but these are for the 5p wide. The best way is try and line it up in the center, and hopefully it works, and you just hope there's enough there to catch. Make sure you got your negative at the right point, which is here. Now to the BMS, I'm going to have my negative cable straight to here, and that's fine because that's all negative through there, unlike the positives where if you get too much heat you go through the case to the outer edge on the negative. So make sure I've got it laid out correctly and it follows through nicely, and these go on the underside, which is the opposites. So that links that battery to there on that side, but it's free on this side, so it's the right way around. Now I run out of nickel strip, so improvise. I'm going to solder them to the battery, then that to the strip there on the other side. And this is for the positive. Instead of a strip like this on the positive, I'm going to do it like this, bring it out, so I've got that bar that I can solder the positive to the supply straight here, and that heat when soldering is away from here enough that it shouldn't affect the battery, it shouldn't go through the case. That's the plan there. And once again, these are the dead cells, purely for the idea of holding it in the 18650 holders. And I'm going to just spot weld them. I'll kill these batteries, make sure they're completely dead by putting a resistor across it, something like this, or something like this, to ensure it's dead and it's not going to do any damage. Now I'm not going to even suggest I'm any good at this, because this is really my third pack. But what I don't understand is, look at all those welds I put in there, yet it is loose. It didn't even work. Maybe the tags on the batteries are too high, and hence that little risen bit. But you think something should have grabbed if I knew what I was doing. So back to the olden days where I get the solder iron out, put a little bit there. But otherwise, everything seems to be okay. Like I said, I'm still learning. If you're watching this and you can see what I'm doing wrong, I did turn up the strength to try and make a more imprint, like you can see there. But what I noticed is, if you go in reasonably quick, it doesn't have time to fully charge, or more so, if you do wait between spot welds, it'll be more intense when it goes. So I'm assuming it's to do with the internal battery of the unit doesn't quite charge. Anyway, like I said, it's shut down. I'm going to give it a full charge before I continue. As far as that, everything else looks good. I will be checking to make sure I've missed anything, because the rule of thumb seems to be 2 spot weld on every battery, hence 4 dots, which I may have missed some. Now I've gone ahead just to put all the bits and pieces on it. You've seen it before in many videos. So this is the newer one I've made, and the existing one, it worked. Now I'm convinced that these BMSs are working, because when we plugged this in, they got warm. Now it's cold, so it'll probably just final balanced. So the difference is this connector to the power wall is longer, and I've got just that plug there at the moment, just so when I solder these in, the pins don't move on me. That holds it in place, so that can come off like that. Also, this is just straight nickel stripped on the sides as normal, as you would, whereas the new one, I put little tabs on each front. So the theory is, I can check to make sure that everything is nicely balanced, or at least doing something that's not out of the parameters, by putting the multimeter straight on the face, other than trying to get into the side. So that's the biggest difference. And this is the key for the whole thing to fit on the existing 18650 holders on the walls. There is the profile of the battery does not fit the bracket, so I glued a little piece on here that holds the 3, where the bottom of the plate would come up and sit like that. And this one here, as you can see, is the width of the 2170s, and it has a little bit of play, which will work. Whereas what I did different here, I put them on the battery first, then centered it and glued it. You can see how that's a little bit in, but even both sides, so there's no play in it. And that one's tight anyway. There's a looser one, but there's no play, so that sits nicely on. Nothing changed up the top. So got the 3 here. It only holds on 3 batteries. 4 is too much for the top bracket. 4 won't hold in there like the 18650s, but 3 will. There's a little bit of play. Either I can pack it with something, or the fact that that's in there like that helps hold it a little bit more sturdier. So now that's done, I've just made a bit of a loom that goes on here. That's supposed to just connect to the negative, obviously, over onto the power wall, which I'll pick up on this point here, and the positive for now I'll pick up on this point. That's the bit that I need to work out to make it neat and tidy. I need to have some sort of bus bars across, or wherever I put these 2170s, which ideally there, because here I still want to keep all those where they are for when I finally finish those packs. So I need to make some sort of bus bar where I can then connect this onto here. So how I do that, not sure. If you've got any ideas, drop in the comments. The only way I'm thinking is I have one massive terminal, or 2 I should say, 2 screw terminals that come off the wall, where I can just basically keep adding onto it. But that might look like a mess. The neater way would be 2 bus bars across the wall, and then I can screw, you know, the screw thread where I can screw into and put the nut on that. That'll probably be the neatest way. But anyway, if you've got any other ideas, drop them in the comments. So let's just hook this up and see what it looks like on the wall now. This has been a few months to this point from the rest of the video being filmed. What we have here is the 4th generation and the 5th generation. When I was getting through the 4th generation, I ran out of the nickel strip, the 5p wide, but you can see here, this is the 5p, as I showed in the rest of the video how it doesn't cover that distance properly. But here is an actual 2p, so this is the width, and you just cut it off the reel, where like that the reel goes. So you cut off the reel, so much better fits around all these plastic bits better. So this one was done in its entirety of the 2p wide, and by doing this in one piece, I'm able to come up and across the face, so that makes it all far neater, far tidier. And back to the problem, that's a potential problem anyway, with the positive, this is where the positive wire would pick up on over empty cells, and that's obviously the positive of the batteries there, so that keeps it far neater. But this is still just a strip I've had that you don't need to have 2p, 5p, nothing. That's what I've used there and there, just an ordinary strip because I don't need anything else. Anyway, that's far neater. Anyway, now I'm waiting for the BMS to come for that one. All these packs from the 1st to the 5th, they're all roughly 874 watt pack. It's all installed now. First, ignore this mess here. But these are the power cable for positives coming into the packs, and negatives just tap into there, as I've said before. But it's starting to look a bit messy, almost like I had just before I moved from 24 to 48 volts. That's why I want to get something neat here, because when it looks messy, it looks dangerous. So anyway, it works. For now, this video is done, but thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. Share any thoughts and comments. What I could do with those bus bars would be very handy. Thank you. Bye bye.